Welcome back, guys. I'm doing a tire on the Hayabusa with some basic tools. I'm gonna have all the links in the description, of course. Please use those links. It's not an easy job to do. It's pretty hard. It's best if you have somebody to help you, but you can do it at home. It is doable. I've done it a few times already, so now I'm making a video of it. Alright guys, now really quick, before I change the tire, I want to show you some tips and tricks here. In my case, I have a 36mm nut. I'm gonna take this block off here for the chain adjustment. This way you have more wiggle room here for the axle. And in my case, I have an ABS sensor. You can see here how close it is to the wheel. So if you go to take it off, it's definitely gonna hit there. What I'm gonna do is remove the sensor from here, from this bolt. This way it doesn't interfere. Okay, now to make things a little bit easier, you're gonna wanna compress the piston on the caliper. This way you have more wiggle room with the disc brake here. Don't go too crazy, don't push it in all the way because the brake fluid could puke out from the reservoir itself. And finally, I put some wood underneath so there's not like any fighting with the wheel when I try to take it off, so it doesn't like fall down or grab somewhere. This way the wood is gonna hold it if I have to let go of the wheel. And a little tap of the axle is gonna help remove it if it's stuck. I couldn't find my rubber hammer, so I'm gonna go with brass, just a little tap, nothing crazy. And here I'm gonna kind of pull out the caliper, slide it out with the wheel so it's out of the way, because otherwise it interferes with the wheel removal. Ta-da! Okay guys, now as you can see, the sprocket here is falling out. That's totally normal. It's a good idea to remove it, might as well, because if it falls and scratches the rim, that guy Avery is gonna start laughing again. And this is a good time to inspect your bushings here. You can also test it like this, see if there's any play like going like this way. These are solid, these are good. At this point I'm gonna take the air out, and since the wheel is off, I'm gonna clean it. This is a good opportunity to clean it. You have so much access right now. Use this tool here, and that removes the valve inside. Okay guys, I cleaned the wheel with a rag and some WD-40. It is best to clean it before you start. This way there's no like debris and you scratch the wheel. Also clean the sprocket here. You can see all this gunk came off, and this is how it looked, just like this in the backside. But I'm gonna clean the backside later. I just want to show you how it was. Okay, now you want to break the bead. I have these C-clamps, and I spray a little WD-40 here. And obviously when you put it on, make sure, of course, you don't hit the wheel. You just want to have this on the tire. And this is where the WD-40 comes handy, where I said to lubricate this part, because otherwise when you tighten it, it just walks off and goes towards the wheel. And again, make sure underneath you're not touching the rim, because that's going to be bad news. Make sure it's on the tire. Oh yeah. Want to be really careful, because I don't want to scratch these wheels. They're like so nice. Now this one, you go like this. That's a good opportunity to slip in this guy here. That's it, little by little we're gaining territory. Okay broskies, the bead finally broke. As you saw, I walked around it and it finally gave. Right here, that's it, it gave away. Spray some more WD-40 to keep it lubricated. This way it slides. Okay, now to the other side. Alright guys, broke the bead on this side as well. They do make a tool where you put the wheel on and it has a lever to break the bead. However, I'm doing this on a budget here. I don't have that tool yet. I might get it one day. But just wanted to show you that it is possible to do it like this. Okay, now it's time to pop out the wheel. And the trick is that there's a lip inside here. You want the tire to dip below that lip. As you saw, I was pushing on the tire all around, so it does get sucked in there because that edge is smaller and it makes room for the tire to come up. Otherwise you're just like pulling against the tire. That's just to hold it so it doesn't fly off. I was looking for this and I found the rubber hammer.
Look at me. That's all muscle. Oh.
Ah! Hercules, Hercules!
Oh, Hercules, 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 Hercules.
Okay, broskis, now we gotta pass the wheel obviously on the other side. Let's see if I can just go like Hercules again, you know what I'm saying? That's why I don't go to the gym, because I work out on the bike here. And I'm glad I'm changing the tire, because I was kind of thinking when the time comes to change the tire to do like a burnout. But it is raining today, and tomorrow we're gonna go to Long Island probably with a bike. And next week I'm going to New Jersey. So I want to have safe travels. I looked at the tire before. Of course I can see it's worn down. You can see the wear mark here, right here. But look how much difference it has with the new tire. You see the wear mark is in there. Look how deep that is. That's like a lot of wear. And then here the tire, it's like splitting or something. Too many burnouts, too much power. And then there was one spot I saw, it had, oh, right here. So that's not cool either. But yeah, that's it with this tire. Now this one can get out of here and put the new tire. Okay guys, let's talk about tires now. This yellow mark here is the lightest point of the tire. And they want you to line that up as close as possible to the stem, because that's the heaviest part supposedly of the wheel. Also, these tires are directional, which means they go on a certain way. You can see this arrow here pointing that way, which means the tire has to rotate like this. So, okay, so let's calculate this. That's on that side. The tire is gonna go like this way. There's this arrow right here pointing that way, which means it's gonna turn like this. Okay, so now in this case, the dot is gonna be on the other side. I don't wanna have the rim facing the rotor, so I don't risk warping it. So I'm just gonna mark where the yellow dot is roughly on the other side. Even if it doesn't line up, that's fine. We're gonna balance the tire anyways. So roughly that's where that is. And now to install it, I'm gonna use WD-40 on the bead to make it slide. Some people, they don't like to use that. There is stuff for tires, but I don't do tires that often. And I've always been using WD-40 to lube it. I never had an issue. The tire never went bad and it gets absorbed. So no issue there, but you're free to do it whatever way you want to. This here is the edge where I was talking about before to have the tire bead. Because if you have it over here or here, there's no way that tire is gonna come off. And also when you put the tire, it's best if you have it in the sun or heat it up with a heat gun. This way it's more flexible. That's it guys, small bites. Use a little WD-40 to lubricate and make it slide, and you're gonna get it. Look at my gloves. And same thing here, you want to keep the tire on that low edge, otherwise it's never going to go on. You can see now it's getting tight. Gotta hold the mother sucker down so it doesn't go anywhere.
Το έχεις βγάλει, βάζουμε καινούριο. Λείπει εδώ βοηθός. Ζοριζόμαστε.
Έχουν κατεδρώσει τα παπάγια μου εδώ.
Είσαι κατά μουσια, μαρέ.
Άψε.
Καταγράφει αυτό.
Ναι. So the hard part is done. We're gonna put some air, balance this bad boy with this guy here. And now be ready with the valve. And clean the rotor, because that's gonna have some oil on it too. I just use a little brake cleaner on a rag. And now we're gonna finally balance it. Okay, and this is a good way to make sure the cone thing is on tight. Put it on its own weight to make sure this part is seated here and make it tight. Okay, and I have this balancer here. Over here has a level. Let me show you that bubble. You see the bubble? So that's to make it level. These legs here, they're adjustable. Okay guys, now the wheel is gonna wanna find its heaviest spot. Give it a few turns, and if you see it going in the same spot again, that means that's the heavy spot. And as you can see, I left the wheel weights on. And speaking of wheel weights, when the bike was new, I had these weights. Those grab here on this inner edge. However, every time you use those, it kind of scrapes up the wheel. You can see these two marks. I touched it up because it had it got scraped there from that wheel weight. And so now instead of using those weights and scratching the wheel every time, I got these. As you can see, I already have used them before. Those are just stick-ons. You take them off and there's no scratches. And this is an old mark from putting a tire. I touched it up as well. But this time I didn't scratch the wheel at all. Each time I do it, I'm getting better and better. Okay, so I do notice the wheel always ends up kind of here. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is remove those wheel weights and try again where it ends up. Okay, now the wheel weights are off. We're gonna spin it to see the heaviest point. You can see now the heaviest point is on the bottom. So to compensate, you gotta put the weight on the opposite side, which is up here. So I'm gonna clean this with a little alcohol. And I'm gonna use some of the old weights with tape, so you can see how much weight we need. Okay, and I'm gonna put one more. Okay, that's something different now. So ideally when it's balanced, the wheel is gonna stop at different spots. It's not gonna end up in the same spot every time. If it ends up in the same spot every time, that means there's still a heavy spot. Okay, now I'm gonna try one more. Okay, so now it stopped at a different point. So that's good. Before this was down here, now it's over there. That means it's balanced. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna try one more because I see it's returning a little too much. Okay guys, I'm gonna say that's pretty good. If there was a heavy spot, it would end up in the bottom again. But now every time I turn the wheel, it stops at a different point. So before the weights were up here, now they're here. I mean, yes, it does go back and forth, but this is really close. I've done this a few times and I never had an issue. I've done 190 with a bike. So I'm gonna say that's good right there. Gonna see how many weights I have. I'm gonna take those off and put the new weights. Of course, clean the surface and put the new weights on. Okay, let's try this out one more time, make sure it's good. And obviously they make these weights in different colors. Okay guys, I'm gonna say that's good. As you see, every time the wheel stops in a different spot, that means it's pretty
That's all, folks.
That means it's pretty balanced, very close. I'm not saying it's exact, and I'm not saying this is a correct way to do it, but I've done this before and it works for me. And like I said, I never had any vibration issues, nothing. Okay, now I'm gonna reinstall the wheel. Make sure you put a little grease on the axle so it slides in nice. Reminder, you gotta install the wheel and the caliper at the same time. And now's a good time to adjust your chain if you have to. And one more thing I want to point out that's really important. A new tire is always slippery. So for the first couple miles, go easy. It has like this glue finish stuff on it. Some people use gasoline or whatever to remove it. But I like to just ride the bike and get rid of it as I ride it. You can see that stuff I'm talking about. You can see here on the edges, you see the chicken strips on the old tire. That's the stuff that that's slippery. So the more you use a tire, the more you lean, that stuff gets pushed on the edge. So just something to keep in mind. Don't put on a new tire and start leaning. You're most likely gonna slip. And lastly, with this bead breaker, you can use the ends of it to pry over the wheel. However, I like this one better because it has a handle. This finish seems to be more smoother too. But that's something to keep in mind. Doesn't mean like you have to get all of these. And with a shield, really only use 2. I got 4 just in case if I destroy one. You can see here this has some damage. But sometimes I might have used 3 maybe. Okay, that's gonna be it for today. I still got this windscreen to do on the Busa. I did a fan on the Kawasaki. You can see that fan right there. I made a video of that. As you see, the bike is dirty. We did a nice ride, a fun ride. I'm gonna be posting that as well. I got a quick turn throttle tube for the Kawasaki. So there is plenty of videos gonna be coming out. I just gotta find the time to edit all these videos.